Welcome to beautiful Orange Beach, Alabama. Today it is the SEC soccer tournament rolling on. Semifinal action today. Two top 20 teams. Number 19 Auburn getting set to take on what some say is the tournament favorite, number 5 Florida. Flashback to Wednesday night. Florida down 1-0 to Vanderbilt. How about that? Savannah Jordan, 20th goal of the season, and then Pamela Bigic would not end the winner. It was a 2-1 victory for Florida. It did not come easy against the Commodores. Auburn against South Carolina. This tying goal late after being down 2-0 for Auburn by Ellie Leak. Overtime would not yield a goal. It would be on the penalty kick. South Carolina's injured Sophie Groff didn't even play in the game with an ACL injury. Pulls her shot wide. And then Ellie Leak from Wales would provide the heroics. Auburn would move on. Take a look at the brackets. You'll see later on tonight it will be LSU taking on Texas A&M, last year's tournament winners. And welcome in, everybody. I'm Glenn Davis. Alongside me, she's former U.S. Women's National Team defender Heather Mitz, and Auburn getting here in some very, very dramatic fashion. And tonight, I don't think there's any question, Sarah LeBeau in goal is going to have to be big against Florida.
She's going to have to step up huge because of the physical battle and mental toll that the overtime game took on the field players. She's going to have to come up huge. The redshirt freshman has started every game this season. She's going to have to be a vocal leader and be very aggressive off of her line.
LeBeau had a wonderful game against Florida in a 3-2 Auburn victory during the regular season. She will need to duplicate that. They were 14-4-1. Starting lineup, we go right to Brooke Ramsier.
Brooke Ramsier, so aggressive in the attack. 10 assists on the season. Casey Ramsier scored 2 goals against Florida last time, including the game winner.
Florida is stacked. They are also number 5 in the nation, and they've got a goal scorer who can make things happen out of nothing. Don't change the dial. Savannah Jordan's in the house tonight.
20 goals on the year, 2 goals last time against this Auburn team. She is going to be the primary focus for the attack for the Florida Gators. She can do so many things, but she's so dangerous with the ball at her feet.
Also provides the wonderful hold-up play. Here is the starting lineup under Becky Burley for Florida. We go right to the midfield, and getting a start, Pamela Bigic.
And she deserves it. She scored the game winner last game. Becky Burley feels like if you play well, you deserve the start. So the big change in the lineup tonight, other than that, you'll have your outside backs going forward, and Brooke Sharp has 10 goals on the year also.
By the way, there's another Ramsier in the house here tonight. It was Casey Ramsier with the game winner against Florida earlier in the season. Auburn will take. Welcome back to beautiful Orange Beach, Alabama. We get set for semifinal number 1. It's sights and scenes like this all around this beautiful part of the Gulf Coast.
Bow your head.
Auburn is ready here to take on Florida. Let's go down to the third member of our team, Taylor Bisciotti, with a story of perseverance.
Well, the challenge of playing 110 minutes, going into double overtime, and winning in penalty kicks is nothing compared to the challenge that Megan Young, Auburn's strength and conditioning trainer, faces. Diagnosed with leukemia in September, while receiving chemotherapy treatments back in Birmingham, she's been inspiring this Auburn team all season. After Wednesday night's victory, she tweeted, "Fight again Friday, #MegaStrong." There's no doubt that these Auburn Tigers will continue to pursue an SEC title with Coach Young on their minds.
Thank you, Taylor. We'll look forward to more reports from you, and of course, Megan Young in the minds of all the Auburn players and staff here today. Auburn is in the dark blue, number 4 seed coming into this tournament. The Tigers 15-4 overall this year, had 8 shutouts. It's Florida in white. Pamela Bigic getting the start after getting the game winner in the quarterfinals over a very determined Vanderbilt. Florida behind that woman, Savannah Jordan, the highest scoring team in the SEC, but Auburn beat them 3-2 in the regular season. Game on here in Orange Beach for a trip to the SEC tournament final. Early win here for Auburn. Ball diagonal in the box, and the offside flag was up, but it's going to be interesting to see how Auburn, after going the overtime, Heather, handle this fatigue. But then again, Florida had a pretty tough game against Vanderbilt.
Absolutely. Both teams didn't have an easy game by any means, but going into overtime, always a little bit more physically and mentally exhausting. But coming out with the same starting lineup, and from the get-go, it looks like they're just going to go after it. Florida's going to try to possess, but early giveaway by Liz Slattery, so need to be more patient, especially in the early minutes.
And we didn't know from Karen Hoppe where they'd apply pressure, but it looks as though, you know, it is in the Florida half here. Bigich had that flick on at the near post. 11's the talented Brooke Sharp. Again, Auburn had this dramatic 90th minute win in Auburn against Florida during the regular season. Solarou.
And Solarou could have kept on going on that one. She wanted Troutman to make a run. She didn't. They had a little bit of miscommunication, but she could have continued taking the ball, try to draw that defender, and then look to play Troutman.
Time now for Mitz's quick hits here. Heather Mitz's keys to the game.
Starting with Auburn, their set pieces are so important. That's where they scored the game winner last time against Florida, and to condense the field because they have tired legs. For Florida, good defending on set pieces because that's where Auburn is so dangerous, and then to possess the ball. It's how they like to attack, and obviously to make Auburn chase.
Clock again ticks down in the college game. Unlimited substitution. You're brought out in the first half. You cannot re-enter. Two teams that don't do a whole lot of subbing, though.
Florida definitely more so than Auburn, but actually last game they subbed a ton. And I think that's because of the battle that they have between South Carolina. I mean, just the entire game, the intensity just back and forth. You had to use your bench.
Again, Auburn threatening in the box, coming back defensively. The great work of Lauren Smith. High pressing game, though, from Auburn to start here, which can lead to this counterattacks potentially for Florida. Jordan gets a touch. Slattery is 16. 20 is Kristen Westphal, who's listed as a center back, but quite frankly doesn't really play there.
She's all over the place. And even Faulkner right now, she's the other center back, but we see across the entire back line, all those players are just going to be interchanging all over the place. Cardenio primarily stays on the right side and tries to get forward when possible.
Cleared out of there by Kayla Faulkner, one of the top defenders in the SEC, wearing the captain's armband here today for the Tigers. Bigich tries to cut inside, got knocked off it. 24 is Casey Ramsier, who gets it wide. This is Kristen Dotson, who led the comeback against South Carolina. Dotson trying to get in the box, tackled away there by Westphal. And Westphal is going to get called for the foul.
There was initial good pressure and patience by Westphal, but an unnecessary foul right there, which is going to lead to their first set piece opportunity. And the things we had talked about with Becky Burley said, you do not want to give them set pieces.
Auburn, an excellent team off the dead ball situation. Taylor Troutman to take it, a very talented freshman. Into the box it comes, a header. And the target, once again, Casey Ramsier, number 24.
I will say, for Florida, if they are going to give away set pieces, they need to make sure that they are very compact and tight and know where Casey Ramsier is at all times.
Karen Hoppe has coached Auburn for 17 years, is sitting on 198 wins, 15 this year. Claire Faulkner under pressure. Well, if she went out in the tournament here, she could pick up 200. Claire Faulkner will change the point of attack. She was outstanding against Vanderbilt in marking the very athletic and dangerous striker Simone Charlie. Bit of a sluggish start here for Florida.
I just think they are trying to possess, but this is what they do. It's to a fault, and maybe some of the balls they're playing aren't to the best areas. Right now, they're forcing it into the center of the field to their midfielders too much, under pressure. That's where all of Auburn's numbers are.
Cardenio has gotten forward. Nice long touch. Can she get the cross? And crosses blocked. Good recovering play there from Samantha Solarou, who showed some tremendous recoverability.
Auburn's fastest player on the field right there. Their left back, her and Cardenio. Cardenio is probably one of the fastest for Florida. It'll be fun to watch them all game long.
Senior Lauren Smith off the corner here. Remember, Bigich is a great target here. Goes over Bigich's head. Ball is still loose. Savannah Jordan there. And cleared out of there by Kristen Dotson. Dotson really wrapped her arms around the 2-0 deficit against South Carolina and helped lead the charge with a goal a minute after South Carolina had scored.
It was pretty amazing.
Driven in cross. That's a great ball. Headed away by Kayla Faulkner. Brooke Sharp now. Besieged by 3 Auburn defenders, and they're just going to clear their lines here.
Good clearance by Auburn. Way for Florida to continue to try to lump the ball back in and put the pressure on Auburn. But back to what you were saying about Dotson being able to come back, being down 2-0. That really could have been the end of the game right there. And Dotson a minute later, just a huge individual. You know, it was all her trying to come down there and make something happen. The ball happened to come back to her, and then to be able to get a goal a minute later really gave them a lot of momentum.
Brooke Sharp tackled at the top of the box. Good clean tackle there. It's a great diagonal ball. Just not able to time her run was Casey Rams here, who's playing up top alongside with Kristen Dotson.
I think if Auburn can just continue to condense the field more centrally, because Florida's going to try to play it there, they can try to pick off those passes and then keep the ball rather than hitting a ball like that to Casey Ramsier, who she's not going to beat Faulkner with her speed.
Ramsier trying to chest it down. I love the composure that the center back Claire Faulkner has for Florida.
For both of their center backs, they're going to be huge losses next year for the Gators.
Good penetrating ball here. Doherty Howard, and it will in the end come to Sarah LeBeau. And Becky Burley's in her 21st season, and boy, has she built a historic program here at Florida. 1998 national champion. She's 4 times been the SEC Coach of the Year. 26 years in the game, and you know, I know I said this on the broadcast the other day, but every time we look at the bios of the coaches in this tournament and how much they've committed to the college game, it is incredibly impressive. You played for Becky. What was it like?
Becky's, I mean, she's been here forever, since the very beginning. You know, to be able to not only bring a team together and win a national championship in the 4th year of existence, but to continue to evolve with the game and with her players. I think that's what's the most amazing about Becky Burley and the success she's had here at Florida.
You know, the college game continuing to grow in so many ways. Solaru now for Auburn. Again, your referee is Corey Rockwell. Dotson onside and off her line for Florida is Kaylin Marquise. So you got 2 freshman goalkeepers today. LeBeau's a redshirt freshman. Savannah Jordan can't control it.
And Marquise did not play in the game last time when these two met. So I feel like she actually, since they have switched over goalkeeper, she has made a huge difference for them. And it has been a lot of the reason why Florida has been able to be more successful.
Cardenio with a wonderful move around Solaru. It's pulled the center back out of the middle. There's that space that Florida hits. And are we... Let's see, this is just outside the box.
Absolutely.
Got a little nervous there. And so did Auburn.
Great little run by Doherty Howard. Cardenio, nice job, 1v1, beating Solaru down the flank. And then looking up, this ball probably could have been put in behind to Savannah Jordan, who was wide open, but Doherty Howard making an excellent run. And one of the Ramsier sisters right there just getting in late and the wrong side of her and definitely getting her foot on that one.
About as close as it can get, but it'll be a set piece now for Florida, and the run from Cardenio, well, it actually drew a center back out, and that's the space they hit. A dangerous free kick. Kristen Westphal stands over it. The senior, who a number of NWSL teams are very interested in. Shot will go through everybody. Off the end of the wall. LeBeau never saw it. It wasn't even hit that hard, but it goes in. It's placed perfectly, and it is 1-0 Florida through Westphal.
I had not seen Kristen Westphal take a set piece from this distance. I was curious to see what she was going to do, and it couldn't have been more perfectly placed on the outside of the Florida Gator wall, right in between Faulkner. Faulkner actually might have been able to get a touch on this. It's through Doherty Howard's legs. Perfect little set piece right there, and the Gators are up 1-0.
Stood 2 on the end of a wall, and that's where the free kick was hit. So by design, a set piece now. The difference here, it is 1-0 Florida. And how will Auburn respond here? Sharp switches a play to Kristen Westphal. Goal comes in the 11th minute. Kristen Westphal plays for the U.S. Under-23 national team. 10 assists on the year. Was voted the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Into the box again comes Bigich, and cleared by Solaru. Kristen Dotson. And player down slow to get up.
I'll tell you what, Karen Hoppa's not very happy about this. She felt that needed to be a foul, but it just looks like it's a hard battle to me.
Karen Hoppa's fired up and is as passionate as they come.
I tell you what, Osbach's probably one of the toughest players on the field, so typically she's usually the one who's taking players out.
Vanna Jordan does a sporting thing, knocks it back to Sarah LeBeau. Westphal picks up her second goal. We know Auburn has the ability to come back. We witnessed it on Wednesday against South Carolina. Dotson now.
Good double there in Dotson, because she has a ton of speed. You can keep her in front of you, then you'll have success.
So Kristen Westphal off a set piece has provided the first goal here in this semifinal. And with Westphal going forward, Liz Slattery and Lauren Smith always have to be aware of that, don't they?
Absolutely, but I think at the same time, depending on how many forwards they have, you don't necessarily have to worry about it as long as you have more defenders than you do forwards. I think they feel pretty safe back there with Faulkner and Smith and Cardenio.
Good running here on the right side. Cardenio, who set up the free kick, will get across, and what a ball from Cardenio.
Wow.
And headed over the top by a streaking Savannah Jordan. The delivery can't get much better than that.
And Savannah Jordan knows it. Cardenio once again, excellent first touch. She sets up a perfect cross, and Savannah Jordan just couldn't get over this ball. Leaning back a little bit too much, so it goes over.
Well, so far, the penetration out wide here from Kristen Cardenio has been a big piece of this opening 15 or so minutes. Over the top comes Auburn now. Kristen Dotson there. Faulkner's going to head it back. And off her line.
Nice composure by Faulkner to know to head that back to Marquise. A good little ball over the top. They're looking to stretch Florida, mix up their attack.
Guys, we got to play and move a little quicker. Offer!
And we could hear Becky Burley right there saying, quicker movement off the ball. And when you're playing against a team that went into overtime 2 nights before, movement off the ball is key.
Faulkner goes with a direct ball. It's dealt with nicely by the center back Faulkner.
That's something we don't see that often from Florida. You know, they usually possess and try to keep it and play it in the grounds. But it's nice to actually see Faulkner trying to play it over the top because it varies their attack and then it makes the Auburn defense have to drop a little bit rather than be able to read it every single time.
And breaking out with a huge amount of space here. Smith lays it off. Savannah Jordan flag is up. The offside call is made, and Auburn will get a free kick here, holding down a goal here to Florida. SEC Network Women's Soccer is brought to you by Belk, the home of modern Southern style. Visit belk.com today. And here in Orange Beach, Alabama, they have been wonderful hosts. First of two semifinals here. Westfall goes back to Marquise. To Faulkner.
Once again, nice composure right there by Faulkner. Just mixing it up. Sometimes she goes long, sometimes she'll keep it, go the other way. Just makes it so much harder for the offensive players to try to defend her.
So here's Westfall at the halfway line, who was just a part of the buildup in front of her goalkeeper. She's actually essentially the playmaker for Florida, right?
From the back, absolutely. They like to build their attack out of the back, starting with Westfall.
Here she is again. If you were to look at statistics after this game, you might say it would be a good bet to put your money on her having the ball more than anybody here. Chested down beautifully. More from Smith. Oh, she had Brooke Sharp. It's laid back. Doherty Howard. Solaroon needed to win that. Didn't. She goes down. There's no call. There's going to be a claim for a penalty maybe. But not really. Big switch of play. Not able to get there was Ellie Leak.
I don't know, because it looks like Doherty Howard had possession of the ball, had cut it back, and obviously Faulkner did not get the ball at all. So questionable, but
we've seen him
we'll
called.
Play on.
We've seen him called. Biggich will come off. And coming on for Florida now, Betsy Middleton. Middleton's first touch. She knocks it back to Westfall. Such a value placed on the ball by Florida. It's year after year.
I'm not quite sure it was this way when I was playing at the University of Florida, Glenn.
Well, I kind of meant in recent times. What were you guys? You were Route 1 soccer back then? Admit it now.
No. Not completely. We weren't nearly this possession-oriented, though.
All right, we're going to give you a lie detector test. Or we'll have to pull some of that 98 NCAA championship footage out.
It always helped when you had Danielle Fotopoulos and Abby Wambach, and gosh, I could name a ton of players.
Yeah, you might want to play a little direct with those two in their aerial presence. Over the top it comes. Rachel Smith has had some explosive moments of getting into the attack, as well as Cardeño. So the two outside backs are joining in like crazy. It's big trouble here. Savannah Jordan now with a long touch. Is she a favorite to get the shot off? She does it. She scores. The nation's goal scorer has done it again.
Wow, and that's so untypical of Faulkner to get beat, especially with Savannah Jordan's speed. You know, Faulkner is known for being one of the fastest, the captain, the leader, and they were right next to each other in that one. But you have to give so much credit to Savannah Jordan because of how well she uses her body. She didn't allow her to catch up to her, and then the composure to be able to hit it by LeBeau. This is questionable whether or not she was onside or not. And maybe Faulkner was planning on her being offside. But regardless, have to give Savannah Jordan a ton of credit. She took that initial step in behind Faulkner and made it very difficult for her to catch up.
She is a finisher. 21 goals now for Savannah Jordan, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year. She's been voted all SEC first team 3 years in a row. And it's just knife-like finishing like that sets her apart from everybody. Sharp now. And we talk about her goal scoring, but she's the complete package as a center forward. I mean, she can provide the hold-up play, you name it, she can do it.
She does it all. The change of pace, being able to hold the ball exactly. She uses her body so well. It's another thing. And actually, she's not the tallest, but the fact that she's able to win so many balls in the air, she does look like she's a step ahead of Faulkner. So that would make a difference.
So that's some room for a little bit of controversy there, but it's 2-0 Florida. Cardenio. Honey, after they got the goal off the set piece, it seemed to just up the tempo here for the Florida Gators.
Karen Huppa is not happy, and for good reason.
Well, and she's standing in an area where she may have been directly in line with that play. So she may have had a very, very good look at it because their bench in and around that area. One goal's a problem against Florida. Two's an even bigger problem.
Absolutely. But
we saw them come back.
Exactly. But they answered very quickly after that second goal. And I think that's what needs to happen. It needs to come here pretty soon. At the same time, though, I mean, we have plenty of game left.
But for all intent and purposes, Auburn needs the game's next goal here now. And maybe it comes through Kristen Dodson. Another change made for Auburn. Jordan's goal coming in the 19th minute. Set piece time for the Tigers. They'll play a short one. They'll get the cross in. It's knotted down by Brooke Sharp. Solaroo trying to get there. Savannah Jordan now.
Good composure by Brooke Sharp. Knowing that Savannah Jordan passed her that ball, so obviously there's no forward up top. She needs to bring it back around.
Dodson. Cut out by Sharp. She's got Savannah Jordan in front of her. She uses Jordan, who pulls out, makes a nice angle to receive a pass, and now is protecting it. And gets fouled. And there's no call.
And that was the initial feeling like she should have gotten the foul and being frustrated to try to get it back. And now she's getting a yellow card for retaliation.
So Savannah Jordan picking up a yellow now.
That might make Karen Hoppa a little happier. Yeah, initially foul, then you see her get angry, goes after Dodson. She has to be careful. This Florida team without Savannah Jordan is a completely different team. Just being smart now. You're up 2-0. You're in the semifinals. Looking forward to hopefully having one more game to play.
Of course, both of these teams you have to think would get an at-large NCAA bid. But everybody continues to think about the way they navigate the tournament based on home field and seeding and all those other elements that come into it. Auburn over the top towards Casey Ramsier, marked beautifully by Faulkner. Offer line is Marquise.
Just to add what you were saying right there about the SEC tournament, NCAA seeding, Auburn's RPI is 12, which means that if Florida were to win today, that would actually help them in their seeding for the NCAA tournament.
So there's other built-in incentives here other than just winning the SEC tournament. But that's the priority. Dodson. Brooke Ramsier. Can definitely see, though, on both teams the toll of having played games prior in this week.
I just noticed it right there on Samantha Solaru's face. You know, they're just finally starting to kind of settle it, but then she hits a long ball and you could just see the frustration because no one's there to get it. She wants someone to be there to get it, but at the same time, these players are so tired from the game that they played on Wednesday. It's just not possible. So coming together, figuring out what's going to work best for this team moving forward and trying to get a goal before halftime.
That's a good point. You don't want to chase too many lost causes here tonight. Your running has to be economical. Don't forget the SEC tournament coverage will continue. Semifinal 7 Eastern. Texas A&M taking on LSU. Only on the SEC ESPN network. And streaming live on Watch ESPN. That will be a good one. Because LSU feels as though they've got a lot of momentum. And Texas A&M will be seeking out their 3rd consecutive SEC tournament. And we'll hope to book their ticket into the final. Here's the brackets. A lot of games in a short amount of time. Florida will get the free kick here. Unsung hero, Lauren Smith. You hear everybody talking about the Westfalls and the Faulkners and the Savannah Jordans and the Brooke Sharps, but there's others that have very vital roles like Liz Slattery, Lauren Smith, Doherty Howard, to make it all work. Casey Ramsier was trying to get over.
And I know that Karen Hoppe said she's the fittest player on this team, but I'm just still amazed at the amount of work she did on Wednesday and how even today she's just continuing to do so.
Kaylin Marquise now. Only a freshman from St. Petersburg, Florida. Westfall. Back to Marquise. Might have been the time to Auburn to pounce on this. Maybe turn it into an immediate chance, but it's Faulkner now. Was under pressure. Almost coughed it up. Trying to get in there was Ellie Leak. They've won it back. In the box, just over the head of Casey Ramsier. It would have been a wonderful moment for Auburn to pull one back.
But great pressure by Auburn. You know, they basically are waiting for Florida to turn the ball over, and they're taking advantage of it. And right there, Dotson putting this pressure on. It's the Ramsier sisters. Then you have Leak. They're just locking them in, not allowing them to play it out. And then it was Beal, actually, that played this ball, and just a little bit too high for Casey Ramsier, who really was the reason why that whole thing started.
Pressure is at times here, winning the ball back in good areas now for Auburn. Montegudo has come on for Florida. She's only a freshman. And this is her chasing down Solaru. Solaru gave it up. Montegudo now will hold it up. Knocks it back into midfield, and it's Kayla Faulkner. to open things up. Solaroo looking for support. Kristen Dodson. Casey Ramsier took it off her chest. Turn. Nice little ball to her sister Brooke. Brooke Ramsier lets fly. And that's a dangerous hit. Over the top. Marquise may have seen it all the way, but some good combinations from the sisters, the Ramsier sisters.
And that was a better initial ball in from Solaroo. I know that she was looking to go in behind Florida's back line, but she decided to play in underneath to Casey Ramsier into the space. She was able to bring it down, and they were able to make something of this. This little ball in, chest ball down, composure. Casey Ramsier looking for her sister, who one times it just a little bit too high. But that's what they need to do. That's where the space is in behind that Florida back line in the midfield, not over the top.
Marquise to right. Put under pressure very quickly. Pressing back by Dodson. Cardano, Slattery, Montegudo. Tremendous circulation of the ball here. Solaroo is going to get there first. They were one pass away from it.
Good read by Solaroo. It's going to be hard to beat her because she is the fastest player in the field, so you have to be really smart and quick about your passes.
Well, there's no doubt Florida can pass you to death. And they're finding their rhythm now here.
Entering the game, Robert
Second goal is going to be deemed controversial. I don't think there's any question. And Savannah Jordan took beautifully. She looked to be about a yard offside at the half, just over the halfway line. Cross swung in. Crossing opportunity. They'll swing it into the 6. Shooting opportunity is blocked.
I believe that was actually off Savannah Jordan.
Brianna Solis has also come on for Florida. Brooke Ramsier tried to squeeze a ball through to Dodson. It was cut out. Westfall with a bigger ball. Solaroo's going to win the header. Long driven ball, Samantha Solaroo. It'll go all the way back to the goalkeeper, Marquise. Well, volleyball, your thing. Sunday, we've got a volleyball triple header. 1 Eastern, number 21, Kentucky taking on Tennessee. Then at 3, South Carolina squaring off against Alabama. 5, it's Missouri, LSU. Sunday on the SEC ESPN network and streaming live on Watch ESPN. It's a women's volleyball triple header. Marquise, with the ball in her hands, has been in with a U.S. Under-19 national team camp.
She graduated a year early, and they really did not plan on using her, but said that the fact that she had come on so strong, really competed, and as I had said, she really has made a difference for this Florida team since being inserted into the starting lineup. A lot of it has to do with her footwork, her ability to keep the ball back there, and obviously this team likes to possess out of the back, so she starts it half the time.
So we're seeing more changes here from Florida. Is that based just on the fatigue of the tournament, or also looking ahead a little bit, all of the above?
I think both. And even with the start to Biggage today, you know, Becky Burley is very big on whoever's practicing well. She gives them an opportunity in the games.
Casey Ramsier, all SEC first team. Had a pair of goals against Florida in a 3-2 win over them during the regular season at Auburn, Alabama. And they will need some magic from her if they're going to get back in this one. It's 2-0 Florida. Ticking down towards 11 minutes left here in the first half. Glenn Davis alongside Heather Mitz. Hope you're enjoying this on the SEC ESPN network. First of two semifinals. Later on, it'll be Texas A&M and LSU.
Hey, good. Yeah. Here you go.
Oh, wow, and Auburn cannot let them out of that. They got to be able to lock it in, keep them down there in that corner. That's too easy.
Jordan in a chase here with Faulkner, two all SEC players. Wonderful matchup. Logan Beal now for Auburn. Florida just seemingly growing in confidence here the longer this game goes on.
Well, being up 2 goals, like I had said, last game, Dotson was able to come back within a minute, and then you can change that momentum. But right now, the fact that Florida's sitting in a 2-0 lead allows for them to rest some of their players, get some fresh legs in there, continue to actually have the momentum right now. We're heading into half. But a 2-goal lead is still not enough of a cushion, because they score 1 goal, things change. So Florida's going to need to try to score at least 1 more here to really feel comfortable.
Auburn building it up now. Kiana Clark has come out of the back. And maybe that's what it takes. Kiana Clark continues to run in the box. It's tackled away by the very talented outside back, Rachel Smith. But attack initiated by a center back, Kiana Clark.
Absolutely. I feel like anytime, I know that these players are tired, especially the backs. They did a ton of work last game, but if they can try to muster up a little bit of an energy, and when it's on, go forward, that will definitely help their attack, make it more difficult for Florida.
Another way to get back in it is off a corner. They stand 2 in and around the goalkeeper, Kaylin Marquise. Also a player on the near post. Here comes Ramsier. Cross is driven in and cleared. Auburn trying to drive it in there. Ashton Brock.
Tell you what, Brock is looking for the resurface, but Dotson and Casey Ramsier were on that far post, and they were wide open. So if she would have had a better ball, that could have been a good chance for Auburn.
Solis. Well-timed tackle on the far side of the field. was Auburn's number 25, Sophie Samantel. Rachel Smith off the throw. Jordan has posted up on a center back. Tries to get the shot off. Defended well, though, by the captain, Kayla Faulkner.
Once again, I just love Savannah Jordan's composure. That little touch, be able to flick it in by her. She's trying to hold off Clark, but she couldn't get enough on it. But good defending by Clark to be able to battle with Savannah.
Doherty Howard. Second ball cleared right to Savannah Jordan, who's made the angled run now. Clark clears it, knocks it over the halfway line. Sarah Trocoli also on for Florida.
I love the idea by Florida. You're going to have numbers coming forward. Westphal doing all that work coming out of the back, but maybe just try to look for the option to go around. They keep trying to go through little outside of the foot passes through small places. So if they can, just try to use that width a little bit more. They'll have more success.
Jordan. Faulkner gets there, puts herself between the ball, is going to steer it out wide for a throw-in. Savannah Jordan has a goal, also carrying a yellow card. 21st goal of the year, one of the nation's top goal scorers. Took it beautifully. Somewhat controversial, though, because it looked clearly like she was in an offside position. So now it's a big mountain to climb for Auburn. They've got to get the game's next goal here in Orange Beach.
Yeah, if I'm Auburn, 5 minutes left on the clock, I'm making a push right here to try to get one before heading into halftime.
Well, we saw the emotional level change, too, so quickly in that South Carolina game when they got the goal through Kristen Dodson to make it 2-1 against the Gamecocks.
And then having another young player in Ellie Leak step up and score her first goal of the season in a huge moment to give them the tie.
It was a big night for Ellie Leak, and then hit the game-winning penalty kick. A Welsh international, and they'll need a little more Ellie Leak here tonight, Auburn. Trocoli trying to come out of there. Brooke Ramsier knocks it back. Kiana Clark. Well, Saturday, SEC Nation is live from the Grove in Oxford. Oxford, Mississippi. They break it down, everything from the gridiron to the grill. SEC Nation presented by AT&T, Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern on the SEC ESPN network and streaming live on Watch ESPN. Join SEC Nation live from the Grove in Oxford, Mississippi. Brianna Solis, a freshman, is getting minutes here now for Florida. Solaru flying forward. Samantha Solaru will get a shot off. Not a bad effort. Might have had players running off her in the box, but an inspiring run there from the left back.
Absolutely, and I was just saying, less than 5 minutes left on the clock. Use that energy. Try to get a goal before half.
Here's Auburn now again. They've won it back in a good area. They'll get the cross and chested down by Faulkner again. Puts out the fire. The talented Florida Gator center back. She's under pressure now from Logan Beal. And we'll have to concede the throw. So here's that push you asked for, Heather.
And they started with Samantha Solaru, a junior, trying to get on the board. And then you have the ball went right back out to Logan Beal. So they're in a good position to be able to win the ball back and continue to put pressure on this Florida team. Ball
will get whipped in, and claiming it is Kaylin Marquise. Won a youth national championship as a goalkeeper.
Applying that pressure, looking up, knowing that she has pressure and trying to take a rip on goal. I like that.
Less than 2 minutes left. So Lise will come off. No, make that Rachel Smith, excuse me. Owens comes on. Sophomore from Superior, Colorado.
This is actually the first time I've ever seen Owens in a game, so curious to see what she's going to bring.
Savannah Jordan now in a race. With Kayla Faulkner, this has turned out to be a great one-on-one matchup here between two all-SEC first-team players, Kayla Faulkner and Savannah Jordan.
Well, Faulkner, arguably one of the best defenders in the SEC, and then obviously Savannah Jordan, top goal scorer.
On to Kudo, that's a good cross. It's clear, tucking in beautifully with Cimentel. SEC halftime report. Our good friend Tony DeCicco, the former U.S. women's national team coach in studio. Semifinal preview of LSU and Texas A&M. And you'll get first half highlights and stats here from Orange Beach. Westfall scored the game's opening goal off a free kick. Big diagonal ball, it's a good one.
And Tricoli was looking to get in behind. Westfall is one of the ones that can hit it there. Collision between the two players, and Samantha Solar had actually only been playing in the most recent games because of an ankle injury.
Not sure what referee Corey Rockwell called, but Auburn was not happy with this one being called against them. It's Westfall to take it. Now it's an opportunity for Florida now to load the box up, and they've got a number of targets in there. 16 seconds left. If you're Auburn, you can't concede here.
I think Tricoli actually falls on her ankle. As we had mentioned, she did have an ankle injury. Had just recently come back. That would be a huge loss for them.
Westfall to take it. Chance to make it 3 for the Gators. The header goes wide.
Tell you what, you can't ask for better service from Westfall today. She already scored on one. That was a great opportunity for Tricoli. She couldn't capitalize on it.
Now let's get your thoughts in the first 45, Heather.
I mean, you have to give a lot of credit to Florida being able to come out early, take advantage of their set pieces. We had talked about how dangerous Auburn usually is on those. And then a questionable offsides call, but regardless, it's 2-0 Gators, and Auburn just needs to be a little bit more compact and come out strong here in the second half.
All right, let's go down to the third member of our team, Taylor Bashotti, with the coach of Auburn, Karen Hoppe.
Coach, just as much action on the sidelines as there was on the field in this first half. What can you say about the play calling and the officiating?
Well, I can't really comment on that. Clearly, we're frustrated, and now we've got to get our team to come from behind. We've done it before, and we know how to do it.
You know that you can come back trailing by 2, just like you did against South Carolina. What can we expect in the second half?
Well, we'll certainly keep the pressure up that we had in the latter part of this half. We did start out a little flat in this game, and now we got to go for it in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Taylor. Our thanks, as always, to the coaches here at the SEC tournament. Karen Hoppe there of Auburn, and there's a look at Becky Burley. Her Gators are up 2-0 on Auburn. We'll take a break. The studio is coming up next.
Welcome to the SEC Halftime Report. Peter Burns, hi, hello, right there. Former women's national team coach Tony DeCicco, and 2-0 Florida Gators, the overall #1 seed in the SEC women's tournament. Coach, what'd you see, especially in that first goal?
Well, I saw a tired Auburn team, and they had double overtime on Wednesday. But I saw a real classy Florida performance in the first half. They scored 2 goals, but they also worked hard defensively, Peter, to get the ball back.
It was a free kick that scored the first goal. Let's go ahead and take a look at that because it was from Kristen Westphal, the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Always good when you get one of those goals, Coach.
Well, there was a little bit of a wall goalkeeper mistake here. Kristen Westphal saw it, put it between two of her teammates, and kind of passed it into the back of the net. So good goal for Florida. Not a good goal to give up for Auburn, especially being behind 2-0 in the quarterfinals. Now they're behind 2-0 in the semifinals to Florida.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the second goal that put them behind 2-0. Savannah Jordan has just been incredible all season long, including this tournament.
Yeah, the pass from Lauren Brown, marginally offside, I think. But look at how Savannah Jordan outduels Kayla Faulkner, the best defender for Auburn.
21st goal for Savannah Jordan. Again, an incredible. Would you say that's a good career, much less a good season for her? So the tournament continues to move on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket right now. Of course, Florida and Auburn sitting there at 2-0 at half, and then coming up 7 p.m. it'll be, well, the two underdogs that won on Wednesday, Texas A&M and 7th seed LSU. That will kick at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Winner gets to play in the SEC Championship on Sunday. Welcome to beautiful Orange Beach, Alabama. Today it is the SEC soccer tournament rolling on. Semifinal action today. Two top 20 teams. Number 19 Auburn getting set to take on what some say is the tournament favorite, number 5 Florida. Flashback to Wednesday night. Florida down 1-0 to Vanderbilt. How about that? Savannah Jordan, 20th goal of the season, and then Pamela Bigich would not end the winner. It was a 2-1 victory for Florida. It did not come easy against the Commodores. Auburn against South Carolina. This tying goal late after being down 2-0 for Auburn by Ellie Leak. Overtime would not yield a goal. It would be on the penalty kick. South Carolina's injured Sophie Groff didn't even play in the game with an ACL injury. Pulls her shot wide. And then Ellie Leak from Wales would provide the heroics. Auburn would move on. Take a look at the brackets. You'll see later on tonight it will be LSU taking on Texas A&M, last year's tournament winners. And welcome in, everybody. I'm Glenn Davis. Alongside me, she's former U.S. Women's National Team defender Heather Mitz, and Auburn getting here in some very, very dramatic fashion. And tonight, I don't think there's any question, Sarah LeBeau in goal is going to have to be big against Florida.
She's going to have to step up huge because of the physical battle and mental toll that the overtime game took on the field players. She's going to have to come up huge. The redshirt freshman has started every game this season. She's going to have to be a vocal leader and be very aggressive off of her line.
LeBeau had a wonderful game against Florida. Here at the Orange Beach Sportsplex, it's Florida with a 2-0 lead here in the first semifinal over Auburn. Down to the third member of our team, Taylor Bisciotti, with Florida coach Becky Burley.
Coach, you have the advantage. How will you control the lead?
I think the biggest thing is we just need to keep the ball and we need to keep it moving because they're coming with a lot of pressure, and it's really important for us to move the ball quickly.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, so Florida now nursing this 2-0 lead here. 45 minutes to go, and they could put themselves in the SEC Championship. But it is a team that has comeback capability in Auburn. They did it on Wednesday night against South Carolina. Down 2-0, they tied things up 2-2, and then went into penalty kicks to get themselves here to this semifinal. Glenn Davis, Heather Mitz, as we take a look at first half stats here. 6-3 shots for Florida, but dominant in possession for sure.
Absolutely, and Florida actually had two quality chances off Savannah Jordan across, and then Tricoli off of a set piece that really it could be 4-0 right now. But Auburn just needs to continue to be compact, smart when they do decide to go forward. We have Leak back in the game, a couple changes. They need to come out here in the first 5 minutes and really try to get a goal.
Samantha Solaru pushed forward from a wide position for Auburn. And Savannah Jordan picking up goal number 21 here in 2015.
Solaru went down with that ankle injury. She did get taped up. She's back in the game. Be interesting to see how she adjusts.
Game on here in the second half. The game's next goal needs to come to Auburn here, who are in the dark blue. It is Florida in white. Winner here will sit and wait for the winner of the Texas A&M LSU match to follow. Leak. Lauren Smith. Liz Slattery. Switch of play. Expect some high pressing here from Auburn. They've got to get themselves back into this one as quick as possible.
And Montini's a change that they made at halftime. Usually Brooke Ramzier is in that position, so that's a big difference for Auburn.
Cross to the far post and over the head of number 13, Ellie Leak.
And then for Florida, they had Palaio come in on the right outside mid position. She was someone that started earlier in the year, loves to go 1v1, definitely brings something different to this Florida attack.
There's the Welsh international, Ellie Leak, who had a dramatic game on Wednesday. Hit a half volley to tie things up against South Carolina and then hit the game-winning penalty kick after a scoreless overtime. Sharp trying to get out of this. Brooke Ramzier is fouled. It'll be a free kick, Auburn. Florida, the highest scoring team in the SEC with 51 goals. Faulkner's ball is not a good one. Hit directly to the goalkeeper, Kaylin Marquise.
I think she saw that Marquise was off of her line a little bit and tried to go for it.
Marquise distributes to her right. Kayla Faulkner. Kiana Clark. To Leak. Halsbach now. Dotson couldn't control it and is cleared by Kristen Westphal, the game's first goal scorer. Savannah Jordan against Clark here, and the offside flag is up.
And Auburn just trying to condense the field a little bit. They're going to have a high restraining line, which is a good thing. They can catch Savannah Jordan offsides.
Leak trying to self-pass, but it's read by Westphal. She'll concede the throw. Kristen Dodd battling through two tackles to the end line. Got a ball over. Dangerous moment because Ellie Leak was hitting the near post. Auburn is just coming out here hunting the ball like animals to start the second half.
And that was giving me flashbacks to when Auburn was down 2 goals last time, and Dotson with the individual effort to then come and get the goal before they tied it up. So a nice individual effort there from Dotson, and that's what you need in these early minutes coming out of halftime when you're down 2-0. You need to apply the pressure. You need to lock Florida in and really put the pressure on them and try to get a goal here quickly.
Cardano. Again, Florida trying to get out of their own half here, but remaining composed. Marquise, his clearance not the best, as she was put under pressure. It was Gianna Montini, a freshman from San Diego now, who's come on in sort of the holding midfield role for Auburn. Out of play from Florida. It's another throw-in. It'll be a corner for Auburn now. Chance to load the box up. They'll bring Kayla Faulkner forward. And stride for stride with her as she comes into the penalty area. Savannah Jordan coming back to mark her. So it was a corner your way back into this game if you're an Auburn Tiger. Brooke Ramsier drives it in. It's a good-looking corner to the back post. It's 2-1. It is game on for Auburn. And hold it up. There's a flag. This goal is going to be whistled off.
I was going to say, because Auburn, you need to keep your eye on Casey Ramsier and know where she is at all times. Brooke took that kick. It was a beautiful cross. But Casey Ramsier, this comes right to her, and she's completely unmarked. Florida so lucky right now, the fact that they're calling this offsides.
Now, the referee's coming over to talk to Karen Hoppe now.
There's no offside angle, unfortunately. But the ball, regardless, Florida needs to know where Casey Ramsier is at all times, especially on set pieces.
Corey Rockwell, the official, still in the conversation with Karen Hoppe. It'll be a Florida goal kick. Still 2-0. Auburn thought they had pulled themselves back in it. And again, we see how dangerous the delivery off the set piece or off the corner from Brooke Ramsier. Special. Unlimited substitution in the second half. You can re-enter when taken off.
And a ton of credit for how Auburn has come out here since halftime, really turned it on, putting the pressure on Florida, putting them on their heels, trying to get a goal here. So unfortunate on that call. Great set piece opportunity. It's what they're so good at, and finding their best player who scored 2 goals.
Casey Ramsier is going to get one, but it's not hit with a lot of power, easily handled by Marquise.
Casey Ramsier scored 2 goals against Florida last time they played, including the game winner off of a set piece.
So Auburn trying to stir it up here by pressing Florida in their half. Thought they had pulled a goal back. Leak. Solaroo now. Kiana Clark now. This is Alspach.
And Alspach with 6 assists on the year. Loves to get forward. Usually has good service. Just needs...
Dangerous back pass here. It's played right off the post from Casey Ramsier, who read the bad back pass. And you just got to wonder here if luck against Auburn here today.
I mean, what a great touch by Marquise. She definitely got her hand on it. But right now, this pressure that Auburn is applying, Florida does not know how to handle it. They have not been able to get it in their offensive half at all or keep the ball. They just got to keep this up.
And that's a foul from Smith, who went into the back of Ellie Leak.
So here we see Smith passing the ball back. Casey Ramsier reads it brilliantly, and Marquise did get a hand on that to hit it off of the post.
Yeah, that's a big save. Alspach free kick, hangs it up in the air. And handling it is Kaylin Marquise, again only a freshman.
Yeah, and you can hear Auburn coaches down on the sideline saying, don't let them out. Right now, Florida just needs to be smarter. How are they going to be able to settle things down, play possession, keep the ball? They just keep turning it over, giving it away in bad positions. Not a good decision by Marquise right there to try to throw it out of the back. Let your team get forward, and if you need to have your defenders come back to get it, give it to their feet.
Flick forward. Here's Ellie Leak trying to get turned. Sharp with the outside of her foot. Doherty Howard. He got chested into the path of Sharp. And Solaru battling to win it back will earn the free kick. Back to the corner here. This goal was waved off for Auburn.
So great cross in. And we actually even see Smith right there on her line. May look like Dotson was the player that was called, because it does look like Smith, in fact, had stepped up. And then Dotson, maybe they thought she was going to get an initial touch on it before it went in the goal.
When the ball was shot, yeah, it looked like she was in an offside position.
But did she actually touch it?
Wouldn't have mattered. She only had one player between her and the goal when it was hit. And that was the goalkeeper. So that one the officials seemingly have gotten right here.
Oh, the questionable one earlier with the offsides on Savannah Jordan to make it 2-0, but
now, it doesn't take away from the spirited effort here from Auburn to start the second half. And then the great save from Marquise pushing one off the post. It's another foul and another free kick here.
You can hear them say, Maya Paleo, just play the ball. She just needs to be in a more athletic position. She doesn't need to go in and push in the back, because right now, momentum.
Flipped in ball. Trying to pick out the head of Leak, who was trying to flick it on. Here's Alsbach now for Auburn. Doherty Howard with some good defending. Sharp now.
Right now, momentum's on Auburn's side. They're applying the pressure, and they're making it so difficult for Florida to play their game.
Big space here, though, and it's been carved out. Myra Paleo got
great defending by Faulkner, and look at her with the second effort to try to get it back and go forward. This is a completely different team than what we saw in the first half. And Becky Burley even said, the one thing we have to make sure to do against this Auburn team is keep it on the ground, because we saw what happened against South Carolina. The ball was in the air almost the entire game, and then you get into a game where you're just battling. And the head game for University of Florida, they're not going to win it against this Auburn team. They're too strong in the air.
Jordan will knock it back. As Florida now trying to find their rhythm here after getting a real pressing game to start the second half from Auburn. Ramsey off the throat to Leak. Faulkner now being denied the turn, and Leak fouls her. Didn't need to foul her there, because now it's going to set up a free kick, and it got Faulkner out of a tough situation.
I like that she's applying pressure, though, and trying to keep Faulkner in that end. But yes, just being a little bit smarter. Ellie Leak needs to be a little bit smarter about her defending, and Paleo for University of Florida as well.
Brooke Ramjer tried to get there, tried to play in Dodson. Slattery now. Awkward clear from Westfall, which is a rare error from her. Headed down by Faulkner. Out wide, Osbach is creeping in. Auburn brings her into the attack now. She will get across to the far post. It's not a bad ball. It's not headed well. It drops and it's cleared again.
And Alsbach has 6 assists from her crosses that she's able to get in and add to the attack. That was another great opportunity for Auburn. Keeping the pressure on this Florida team.
Captain Rams here couldn't get turned. Here comes Alsbach now. They play a nice give and go to break the pressure here.
And that's how Florida is going to beat this Auburn team, but Savannah Jordan has to stay on.
Middleton tried to play her in.
It's a good idea. Right now, Auburn is condensing the field. They're applying pressure. They have their forwards flying forward, their midfielders right behind them, and their outside, their back line pulling up also. So it's making it really difficult for Florida to break them down.
Beautifully timed by Clark to get the tackle and tries to thread a pass through to Casey Ramsey. It was a good idea. They don't look for a second like Auburn's lost belief that they can't get back in this game. Jordan, Clark marking her, trying to deny the turn. Nice takeover there, but Alsbach's going to get in there. Alsbach's going to get, I believe, called for the foul on Doherty Howard, who's really provided some valuable minutes for this team throughout the course of the year.
Well, this is the type of game that Auburn wants to be in. This is reminding me of the game that we saw on Wednesday when it's just a battle. It's a physical battle. The ball's in the air. They're great in the air. They're good at their timing. Florida needs to find a way to settle this game down and possess the ball and keep it on the ground.
Trying to drive into the box here. It's got to be played with her feet, and it is by Sarah LeBeau. Solaru now. Touch got away from her. And it's one back by Florida now. Some good combination play. They get it wide. And now they are trying to find some confidence through passing.
I wish Palaio would have just kept going there rather than cutting it back and trying to cross it in. She had her beat. I think it would. The early ball would have caught Auburn off guard.
Later on, right after this one, it's LSU taking on Texas A&M. Taylor Bisciotti now with the coach of Texas A&M, G. Guerreri.
Coach, what are going to be the keys for your team in today's matchup?
Well, I think obviously if we can come out with a good level of intensity, and we want to be able to set the pace. I mean, LSU are on a great run. Brian's really got them playing well, but they have played 2 games already this week. So we'd like to score first. I think if they get the first goal, then you can expect them to really lay back. I think they're going to be playing really deep with their back line today anyway. So that's going to be really challenging for us to get, good looks at goal. So we want to, obviously, if we can set the tone, get the first goal, and play it at our speed, then that's what we want to do.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, G. Guerreri, Texas A&M, LSU, tonight at 7 Eastern. A&M 6th seed, LSU the 7th. But a reminder, LSU had to play in the play-in game, so this is the 3rd game, Heather, in 5 days for the Tigers.
Brutal. It's a lot of games in a short amount of time, but they've been on a run ever since that Arkansas game, and they're playing well, so I look forward to seeing that matchup.
Alsbach now. Auburn needs the game's next goal. It is Florida with a 2-0 lead here. Kayla Faulkner. Well, there's big space here. Casey Ramsey here now. Faulkner continues to run forward. They try to bring in Dodson. It's pinball wizardry around the top of the box. It's Westphal who steps in and makes a valuable intervention at the right moment for Florida.
Tell you what, since Middleton's come in this game too, though, she's done a nice job of settling the game and connecting with the rest of the midfielders, and that's something that Florida was lacking in this early part of the second half.
And they're taking their time walking to the throw and just trying to slow the game down a little bit here, because certainly Auburn wants this game to be urgent and at a higher tempo. They want it to be stirred up right now. And they've done that since the start of the second half, but it has not yielded a goal. They had a goal called back off a corner due to offside. They hit the post after a wonderful save from Florida's goalkeeper Marquise, who pushed a shot off the post.
I like the idea by their Doherty Howard right there to try to play Savannah Jordan in behind. It's a little bit too much on the ball.
Well, everyone has talked about the parity all year long in the SEC. Yet, we stare at a potential Florida A&M final. Potential, because this one is still not over, and LSU's got something to say about who's going to get to the final in the second game of our semifinals. Sophomore Dotson, who's got 4 goals. Leak. Casey Ramsier might have wanted it earlier, and the final ball is not going to get there. Solaru was matched there by Myra Palaio. Marquise will knock it towards the halfway line. Kayla Faulkner knocks it inside to her partner, Kiana Clark.
Good pressure by Doherty Howard to have Clark unable to connect on that one, but right back to Florida.
Ellie Leak to Casey Ramsier now. Faulkner coming out of the middle. Angled her off, so it ends up being a rather tame effort. Goes out for a goal kick. The captain, Casey Ramsier, all SEC first team. More changes now. Troutman will come back on. Samantha will come back on. Sure to log on to ESPNW.com to read the ESPNW Player of the Week. 5 things you need to know. And SEC soccer tournament updates there throughout this week. Slattery for Florida. Faulkner is giving it her all. And she is onside. Casey Ramsier now. Westphal has come out to try and help double her up. And Westphal wins the ball.
And that's a good double against Troutman, because she's good with both her right and her left foot. She's so dangerous to pin down in those areas.
Yeah, my apologies. That was Taylor Troutman. Troutman has seemingly gone up front here with Dotson. And it looks as though now that Auburn has dropped Casey Ramsier a little deeper in midfield next to her sister.
Yeah, we typically see them playing in a 4-3-3, but just based on the mental and physical toll from Wednesday's game, looks like they're playing in a 4-4-2. Casey Ramsier obviously at the top of that diamond, and she'll continue to go forward when she has the legs to do it and the time is right.
Solis now for Florida. Middleton, great vision. Idea was good. Ball just overhit slightly.
I think Gabby Rivera could have tried to have taken that out of the air. She had plenty of time, nobody on her. Good switch of point of attack from Middleton.
And that's a strike ball from sideline to sideline that not many would even think about playing. Dotson, Casey Ramsier, first hit the near post, pulled off to the back post. Again, they come close. Again, a good attack from Auburn, and it's led by Kristen Dotson.
And tell you what, Dotson is all right foot. So what she wants to do here is cut it back, get her on that comfortable foot, and either try to get a cross in or even take a strike on goal.
They're just sharper to the ball here in the second half, Auburn. Surprised that Florida hasn't been a little bit more of a threat on the counterattack here, Heather?
I think so. I think right now Auburn's doing such a great job of putting them under pressure. They don't even have a second to really settle things down. And then the times they are actually trying to settle it down, they start connecting on the passes. They're just a little bit off right now.
Faulkner to Rachel Smith.
Nice little deception right there from Rachel Smith to know that Middleton was behind her and to let that by.
Westphal staying home more now as a center back next to Faulkner. We saw her really joining in the attack at will in the first half. Over the top it goes towards Savannah Jordan. And turning away there is Faulkner.
Good defense by Faulkner, reading the fact that Savannah Jordan was on her left side and using the outside of her right to continue to shield her away from that ball.
Casey Ramsey, Dotson may be on if it's a good ball. She's one-on-one with Faulkner. Cuts it in on her right. It allows Westphal to come in and make the tackle.
And Faulkner's been beat twice on that. Dotson always trying to come back into her right foot.
Less than 20 minutes left. Glenn Davis alongside Heather Mitz. First of two semifinals. Florida with a 2-0 lead right now over Auburn, who has been pressing things here in the second half. But maybe the counterattack on here for Doherty Howard, who leads the way.
Tell you what, Auburn's recovery right now is pretty impressive. They're just getting numbers on both sides of the ball. They have to be completely exhausted, but they're just digging deep and finding a way to try to get on the board here.
Yeah, this is just from the physical perspective. 110 minutes on Wednesday night. They had to go an additional 20 minutes in the 2 overtime sessions against South Carolina before prevailing on penalty kicks. Casey Ramsey had her shot steered off the post.
We think about the 2 quality chances in the first half that Florida missed, while Auburn has been the ones who've been knocking on the door here in the second half. The one off the post and the one that was called back. I mean, it could be a tie game right now.
Kristen Westphal, the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, to take the set piece.
What was that?
Good shot there of Myra Palaio, freshman from West Palm Beach. Shooting opportunity to make it 3 is off the post. And the offside flag is up on Savannah Jordan. Lauren Smith creeping into the 18, doesn't get any pressure, and pulled it off the post.
Yeah, why not? Keeping it low and hard. Post keeping it in, and Savannah Jordan, the referees, they've been all over the offsides today. Keep an eye on Savannah Jordan also. Right back to her. She's definitely behind the line. But a good chance once again from University of Florida. They haven't had many this entire second half.
Tricoli got it wide. Rachel Smith with a cross. Solaru gets up. knocked into midfield. This is Brooke Ramsier now for Auburn. Time relative to the score here. Beginning to run out for Auburn now. We're under 16 minutes left. It has been a very valiant effort to try and get back into this game. They'll go direct. That one's going to get cut out by Faulkner. It's not a good clear, though, from Faulkner. Dodson's going to try it from longer range. It'll go over the top, and might have been able to run at the Florida defense there. 3 changes. Allspack, Leak. Coming back on. And Ashton Brock as well for Auburn. Semi-final number 2 will be coming up later here tonight on the SEC ESPN network. If you look at the brackets here, LSU, number 7 seed, will take on the defending champions, Texas A&M. Lauren Smith again now. Cleared by the captain, Faulkner. Rachel Smith.
Good work by Rachel Smith. I like the pressure that Troutman was applying. Forward tracking all the way back. I know they would rather her sit up top and try to use those legs to get in behind the score a goal, but got to be able to win the ball back also.
Solarou can't control it. They tried to work a give and go. Her and Ashton Brock. Another direct ball. Savannah Jordan is the target here. Kiana Clark is there. Jordan with a little tug on the shoulder of Clark. It'll be a throw-in for Florida, and a vital throw-in because it allows them to walk to this now with less than 15 minutes left. Sharp is back on for Florida. Cross to the near post. Second ball comes out. Auburn trying to get players in front of the ball here so they've got a target. They do. It's Leak. It's Faulkner. And she knocks it into midfield to Solis. Leak through the legs of Rachel Smith. Looks like she was fouled. And it'll be a free kick, Auburn. Offsback to take it. An opportunity to get players in the box here now. Ticking down towards 13 minutes left. Allspack mishit it, and it'll go right to the goalkeeper.
And you can hear Karen Hoppa down here telling them all to crash the box. So not Allspack's best effort as far as the placement, but the idea is there. Taking advantage of these set pieces where they're so dangerous. And I can't say enough about the effort of Auburn in the second half. I mean, they've completely turned it on. They really have put the pressure on Florida. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to find the back of the net, but they haven't let their foot off the gas at all.
Daugherty Howard comes back on, all SEC second team. Substitution patterns changing the deeper you get into this tournament. More changes made here, and we've been seeing that from both the coaches. Flicked on Ellie Leak. Kiana Clark with an awkward clear. It's one back now by Florida. Tricoli. Ball sprayed out wide, and Westfall was trying to join in. It'll be a throw-in. Sunday we got a women's volleyball triple header. 1 Eastern, number 21 Kentucky will take on Tennessee. Then at 3, South Carolina squaring off against Alabama. And then at 5, it's Missouri LSU. Sunday on the SEC ESPN network, streaming live on Watch ESPN. It's a women's volleyball triple header. Westphal with the back heel to Solis. She figures out ways to get out of difficult situations. Offside flag is up on Savannah Jordan. She's had trouble timing it here with this high line from Auburn.
Yeah, she keeps running in behind, but that back line is not moving. So she needs to read a little bit better. They need to play the ball earlier. And they have brought Dotson back in this game. Typically, we would see her on the right flank, but since they're playing with the two front, she's more on the left side where she's had success against Faulkner.
Ball into the Florida box here. Ball drops. Can somebody get on the end of a second ball here? Leak will get there for Auburn to Allspack, who will hit an early first-time ball to the back post. It's Casey Ramsier now towards Solaru. Does her best to save it, but doesn't. It'll be a throw in Florida, a big one for them, as we tick down towards 10 minutes left now.
And that's exactly what Florida needed right now. They needed to get the ball out of there, get your players up, try to recover, possess and build.
Tricoli's ball, not a good one. Extended possession in the Auburn half has been very limited here for Florida in the second half. But they stake themselves out to a 2-0 lead. Allspack. Solis does a good job of coming back defensively. Savannah Jordan in a chase with Clark. And it'll be a throw in Auburn.
It's been a good little battle between those two all game long, including Faulkner.
Well, the senior class of Auburn got their first win against Florida during the regular season, 3-2, and they're trying to come back here now. Solaru, who can fly, with a good long touch, trying to turn the corner, squares it back. It's a shot and it goes wide. Tremendous buildup. They nearly found a good shooting opportunity, all off a streaking run by Samantha Solaru.
And we saw Solaru had that ankle injury. She got taped up. We see her taking the initiative. She is the fastest player on the field. She beats Gabby Rivera. Nice little ball back to Dotson. And it's almost deflected in the back of the net.
Casey Ramsier with the final touch there. Would have been a spectacular goal. And Auburn doesn't quit, though. They continue to push. They don't seem to get deflated by anything, which is pretty interesting to me, Heather. You know, having goals called back, hitting posts. You know, sometimes teams dive after that. They have remained steady.
We haven't even talked about this. This is a very veteran team. So I think that makes a difference. And even in situations when you go into overtime, and they had won 3 of those games heading into that last one. But the fact that you have so many veterans, it really does come down a lot to just mentality. And this team has it.
Jordan against Clark. Savannah Jordan trying to hold it up, and Clark winning that tackle. Not been the easiest of second halves for Savannah Jordan. Leak. Ramsier knows she can get turned. She has. Casey Ramsier. That's a good ball to Dotson. It's a shooting opportunity. Tried to square it back. Just didn't happen quick enough. And Brooke Ramsier was hitting the far post.
Good read by Cardenio, because she actually had Brooke Ramsier coming in behind her, but she had to come across and pick up Dotson. And if she wouldn't have, she would have had an open shot on goal.
Solaru comes off. Allspack to the back post. Nobody there. Easily handled by Marquise, who as a freshman has looked quite dependable today in goal for Florida, and came up with the huge save on Casey Ramsier. Freshmen don't look like freshmen to me anymore, Heather.
No.
They look
at this
far
point in
more
the
mature.
season, you hope not.
They just look far more mature. You wouldn't know it by the way these freshmen have been playing.
It's a positive thing for sure.
Solis, here's one of them. Give some credit to Kiana Clark, who's done a good job of marking Savannah Jordan. Leak trying to get a little bit of a leg up down this side of the field, going in heavy in the tackle, Rachel Smith. It'll be a corner. And they are dangerous off corners, Auburn. They will get the load the box up. They'll bring their center back, Kayla Faulkner, forward here now. Dotson has continued to push.
And Troutman with the left-footed in-swinger right here. Where's Casey Ramsier? That would be my first question if I was the University of Florida. Marking up tight on her.
Tons of bodies inside the 6-yard box. That's where it comes. Ramsier tried to get ahead on it.
And can Brooke Sharp try to waste a little bit of time right here?
Oh, she gave it away. Not the best of decisions. Probably should have went to the corner flag. Troutman knocking it inside. Savannah Jordan got doubled up. Long ball from LeBeau. Side-footed away by Westfall. Less than 5 minutes left. Florida holding on to a 2-0 lead here against Auburn. Solis. This is where it is generally broken down from Florida. And this time Solis has decided to go it alone. Runs it into the Auburn half. And Tigers will win it back. Tenacious Rachel Smith.
She's done a really nice job at that left back position, and Cardenio on the right. Solid back line performance for the most part for this Florida Gator team. Dotson had a little bit of success out there on the left, cutting it back to her right, but other than that, it was all about set pieces. And Marquise coming up with a huge save off Casey Ramsier.
Yeah, interesting. A very differing half for those two outside backs, Cardenio and as you mentioned, Rachel Smith, because they've had to stay home and defend a lot more, whereas first half we saw them really getting into the attack.
Well, Florida was able to get into a rhythm in the first half and play their game and possess, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. But this second half has been all Auburn, putting the pressure on Florida, putting them on their heels. Granted, they haven't been able to find the back of the net, but they've had plenty of chances.
Pamela Bigich. Looks to get set to come back on for Florida. So this is some good extended possession and territorial play. Offside flag is up again on Jordan, who's probably been caught offside about a half a dozen times here in the second half.
Yeah, the Auburn back line doing a nice job of stepping up and just reading her runs in advance and making it very difficult for her to be dangerous.
Trouble. Brooke Sharp. Savannah Jordan. He finally gets faced up and runs into the brick wall. It's Kayla Faulkner. Faulkner powering out of there. She's going to get called for the foul.
Good little battle between those two. Initially, Savannah Jordan up against Leak. Another forward had her beat, but Faulkner just reading it, knowing she could step in there and win that ball. And these two have been going at it all game long. Well,
it's big trouble now because it's ticking down towards a minute left. Florida in no hurry to take the set piece. They finally do. Here's Westphal now, who's just trying to kill off the clock here. It's going to be another possession for Auburn. Westphal saying she was pushed. More changes here for Florida now. But it looks like the Gators are set to move on to the SEC Women's Finals here in Orange Beach. Minute 12 to kill off. Lauren Smith. Smith will take it towards the corner flag. Less than a minute left now. Driving into the box, and Faulkner will come across to win it. Leading the charge forward now. She has been outstanding as a center back here tonight, for the most part. Casey Ramsier. Dodson makes a diagonal run. They try to pick out Dodson. Westphal comes across with the lateral cover for Florida. "30 seconds left." We have to believe that Auburn would get an at-large bid here. All clipped into the box. It'll go all the way back to the goalkeeper. This should do it. 15 seconds left. Thoughts here on the second half, Heather?
I mean, tons of credit to Auburn. You know that they were mentally and physically exhausted from the game before, where the second half was just so different with their energy level. The fact that they were more compact and composed and put Florida under so much pressure to give them opportunities to score, and they had so many, they just weren't able to capitalize on them.
Becky Burleigh and Florida have advanced to the SEC Tournament Championship, their 15th title game in school history. And they have been 14-time SEC Tournament champions.
And this is how they would get on the board. Nice little set piece through Doherty Howard's leg, and Westphal with her second goal of the season. And then this questionable offsides run by Savannah Jordan. Faulkner can't quite get there. And under the composure, Savannah Jordan is able to put her team up 2-0.
Savannah Jordan picking up another goal here in this tournament. So #1 Florida. Top seed will wait for the winner of LSU and Texas A&M coming up next. Let's go down to the third member of our team, Taylor Bisciotti, with Florida's coach, Becky Burleigh.
Coach, last year's tournament, you lost in penalties. How gratifying is it to get to another tournament final?
Well, it wasn't pretty in that second half, that's for sure, but we are definitely happy to get there, and kind of had to gut one out here.
Any adjustments that you need to make moving forward?
Pass the ball. When we pass the ball, we're a lot better.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well, agreed. She didn't like the second half as much, but some of that credit has to come to Auburn, who came out pressing and breaking the rhythm of the Florida Gators. So let's look at what Auburn did here in the second half. They did have their chances, but they had thought they had scored off this corner, Heather.
And this is a corner kick. Casey Ramsier is wide open, but as we would see, Dodson creeps behind, and Rachel Smith, who was on the post, steps up. So this was called offsides. We're going to have to go with it. But this great little cutback from Dodson once again, looking for goal. Just a little, they're so close, but they can't quite capitalize.
Yeah,
but knocking on the door.
What we didn't see there was also Casey Ramsier, who had a shot that was spectacularly saved by Kaylin Marquise, who pushed it off the post. All right, so that'll do it here. To studio we go. For Heather Mitz and Taylor Bisciotti, I'm Glenn Davis. Let's go back to our SEC studios. Florida is on to the final. They are 2-0.